What's up, everybody? It's your boy Brandon Blakeney, aka Brandon Lee TV. Welcome back to the Live with Brandon Blakeney podcast. You know, we got another banger for y'all, and I appreciate y'all, gang. Everybody out there liking, sharing, subscribing, doing everything we need to get it done to spread the word. I appreciate y'all, man. Now, kick back, relax, and come take a ride with me. We got to preview the national championship game coming on tomorrow, man. We got a rematch of last year's Final Four. Iowa, South Carolina, Caitlin Clark looking to run it back. And then on the other side, man, Raven Johnson and these fresh-faced Gamecocks are looking for revenge. This is the last stop on the revenge tour. They're undefeated, 36-0. Looking to seal the deal. Can they do it? Can they stop the superstar known as Caitlin Clark? Also, man, Coach Don Staley is catching some heat, man, some backlash that I saw on X after her comments. Man, the reporter came out of left field asking her opinion on transgender athletes entering women's college basketball. So we'll hear from Coach Don Staley as well as a couple of the team players. We're going to hear from Raven Johnson about revenge, her revenge season, man. And also Bree Hall also, man, had some interesting words about this rematch. So before we get into all that, though, make sure y'all hit that subscribe button for all the latest and the greatest. And join our memberships. We got that exclusive content coming daily, weekly, whenever you need it. Now, let's get into it.
You are now locked into the Live with Brandon Blakeney podcast. Here is your host, Brandon Blakeney.
We know Coach Don Staley, Nate Smith Coach of the Year, National Coach of the Year, 3 times going now, 3 in a row. We know that she has been opinionated and has been outspoken about various issues, both on and off the court, dealing with sport and life. And she was asked multiple times by a reporter during the press conference before the national championship game, her thoughts and, feelings towards having transgender athletes, particularly people that were born male and identify as female, coming into the college game and playing, at the highest level, playing at women's college basketball, and she shared her feelings about how she felt, how she's thinking about this whole process. And people have a lot of different feelings about it, man. I've seen all types of comments, so we'll take a listen to what exactly was said.
What a massive weekend this is, obviously, for women's basketball, women's sports in general. One of the major issues facing women's sports right now is the discussion topic about the inclusion of transgender athletes, biological males, in women's sports. I was wondering if you would tell me your position on that issue.
Damn, you got deep on me, didn't you? I'm under the opinion of if you're a woman, you should play. If you consider yourself a woman and you want to play sports or vice versa, you should be able to play. That's my opinion. You want me to go deeper?
Do you think transgender women should be able to participate
that's your question
in
you
college
want
basketball?
Me to ask. You want to ask, so I'll give you that. Yes. So now the barnstorm of people are going to flood my timeline and be a distraction to me on one of the biggest days of our game. And I'm okay with that. I really am.
As y'all can see, man, they are getting on her in the comments. It is brutal in those comments right now. I'm not here to say what's right and wrong and really give my opinion on the matter. I'm just here to spread the information and, would love y'all's feedback about that. If there are more transgender athletes that do interject in women's college basketball, how could that change the layout, the outlook? How could that shift the power structure in women's college basketball? What could that mean for the future? Coach Don Staley, her voice, her words hold some serious weight. So, big statement there. Interested to see what y'all think about the situation. You know, we're not going to spend too much time on it. This video is more so about previewing the game, but I did want to share this information because I saw it and kind of was curious about how y'all felt about the situation. Something else I find completely appalling is the fact that Iowa guard Gabbie Marshall is receiving just all types of disturbing and mean messages on social media about the illegal screen, the offensive foul that was called on Aaliyah Edwards that pretty much wrapped up the game, Iowa versus UConn in the Final Four, man. And she, went on wax saying that she's getting messages so bad and just so vile that it's gotten to the point where she had to delete her social media, where she has thousands and thousands of followers, man. Like, at this point, come on, let's grow up. This is a college athlete, for one. She didn't make the call. She's out there playing basketball, people. She's out there trying to win a game. You cannot attack her personally and her character over that, bro. It's getting ridiculous at this point where we're threatening college kids and harassing college kids in this manner, man. Come on, y'all. Come on. We got to be better than this. This is just disgusting to hear. And the fact that she had to shut down her social media where she's, posting deals, posting, memories of her life, what's going on, just doing normal stuff that people do on social media, just keeping people updated on what's going on, posting deals, posting NIL, stuff like that, man, brands that she's partnering with, and she's having to cut down on her business. I mean, it's got me flustered, y'all. I'm struggling to even get the words out at this point because I'm just so appalled by this situation, man. I mean, it's ridiculous at this point. I mean, just hearing from her.
It happened, and personally, I thought it was an illegal screen, and it's not like it was the first one of the game, but yeah, I've kind of deleted social media, so I don't know. I feel like it just kind of overlooked the fact that I played my butt off the whole game trying to guard her. I've tried to get over screens the whole game, and I feel like that one play kind of just consumed everything. Like, I don't know, I feel like that's all anyone's talking about. They're not talking about the fact that it was a great game between two great teams. I don't know, I haven't really seen much just because I'm not trying to look at it, but just I've gotten a lot of hate comments. I don't know, I'm not the one that made the call, so I'm not sure why they're mad at me personally, but I don't know.
Come on, man. I mean, it's sad that she's even having to go through this. It's so unnecessary, so uncool, man, and just ridiculous, man, barbaric at this point. But it's a whole lot of people, and we see it all the time that are computer thugs that like to hide behind keyboards and say whatever they want to say. No profile picture or nothing like that. Just some random name hiding their identity and feeling brave enough to say stuff that they would never say in person, man. We continue to see that, and it's just ridiculous, man. So I hope everything calms down for her at some point soon in the near future where she can feel comfortable enough to activate her social media. Now, there's nothing wrong with unplugging because that social media is damaging to the mental health at times in my experience. But at the same time, it should be a choice that's made by you, not a choice that's forced. So definitely, man, sending just good well wishes and vibrations to Gabbie Marshall because this is ridiculous and she don't deserve that, y'all. But y'all let me know how y'all feel about that situation. Moving on to the game, though. The big ticket. Iowa, Caitlin Clark, and her gang taking on Don Staley's Monsters, the super team. They are just incredible, man. Deep, talented, and a fun group to watch. On the other side, Caitlin Clark has Iowa playing the best basketball they've played all season. Kate Martin has elevated her game, and she's been impressive. She's a major reason why they're in this position that they are in. This is a veteran group, very experienced. A lot of them played in this game last year. So we got to give the experience aspect to Iowa. But looking at the breakdown, man, South Carolina has dominated every team they've played pretty much on the glass. That is going to be a major key. We know they want to get it into the post to Camila Cardoso, who has just been dominant in this entire tournament. She has put this team on her back at times. We saw her give NC State the absolute business, gave them a 20-piece on the day, you know what I'm saying, double-digit rebounds. She's a force, and to be honest with y'all, Iowa don't really have anybody that can match up with her. Hannah Stolke, they got O'Grady coming off the bench. Like, they've got some size, you know, they've got some bigs, but nobody to really match up with Camila Cardoso. They may have to just let her get hers and try to hope, you know, contest everybody else and hope South Carolina has a bad shooting night. The thing about South Carolina we all know is, if you've been watching them this season, is it's way bigger than one player. Camila Cardoso, I mean, they were blowing teams out in the 4 games that she missed. So even if you do decide to zone them and, you know, put pressure and trap on Cardoso in the paint, making things difficult for her, she's a capable passer out of there, and they have shooters this year. We remember the infamous zone that Iowa had last season, where they guarded Raven Johnson like she was Ben Simmons out there. And that really rubbed people the wrong way. People felt a certain way. But she didn't give she really didn't give them a reason to respect her jumper at that time. But now, that would be a huge mistake. And we know for a fact, just hearing her talk about it, that she is taking this matchup very personally.
More than 100 times, probably. I mean, I remember watching it over and over and over. I probably was stressing myself out watching it. I don't even know why I was watching it. And the last time I watched it was probably last year. I stopped watching it. I had to. They made me. Well, it took me a minute. I was crying. Oh, if I can remember. Oh, I was crying every day. I would just remember just being in my room. I remember my phone ringing every day. I didn't answer nobody, like nobody. And I used to hide like my feelings, my emotions to everyone. I used to tell everyone that I was okay, but deep down inside, I really wasn't okay. I'm the type like to not show emotions. I don't want to cry in front of others because I don't want to really show nobody my weakness. But I think LA really seen my weakness, and I hate that till this day. But at the same time, she helped me. She got me closer to God, and I think that just leaning on her, it helped me a lot get over the hump. And Aaliyah Boston, she also helped me also.
It means a lot. I can't believe that her words have actually came true, and I've executed the ask that she's asked me. But I'm just very happy and super excited to be able to play this national championship in front of my family.
Raven Johnson hit a couple big threes to put NC State away last night. I'm expecting her to have a huge game, man. You know, she's been playing with a major chip on her shoulder. She's shooting the ball career high from three-point range. She's improved. She's put the work in, and now she's being rewarded. I look for her to have a big game, man. I look for her to be one of the main ones hounding Caitlin Clark. We saw, you know, that's going to be a big thing is stopping Caitlin Clark, right? We saw how Nika Mule completely hounded her last night, and UConn held her in check pretty much for 2 quarters. So I wonder if South Carolina takes that approach, you know, rotating Malaysia Fulwiley on her, maybe Tahina Powell sees some of Caitlin too, just throwing different bodies at her to try to wear her down over time. That's what South Carolina has done to teams all year, guys. They've used that depth to wear teams down. Can you go 100%? Pedal to the metal, full throttle for 4 quarters? Because that is what South Carolina is bringing, man. They dominate the glass. They wear you down with that front court. I mean, Sanaya Fagan. We just saw Ashlyn Watkins grab 20 rebounds. We got the heavy edge on the glass to the Gamecocks, and that's to their liking. That's playing to their strength. Iowa not a very good team defending the paint, to be honest. You know, they throw some different looks. Coach Bluter is is good at the X's and O's, throwing different looks, keeping offenses on their toes. You know, she's a tactician, so I know we will see some different looks being thrown at South Carolina. I know for a half, NC State was in it to win it, man. They were knocking down shots. They were aggressive on the glass. They were doing things you need to do. If you're going to beat South Carolina, you have to make shots. You have to capitalize on their turnovers. Both these teams have been turnover prone throughout the year. We've seen it. So, for Iowa, they got to win the turnover battle. They got to win the turnover battle. Now, you wonder, as far as, handling the basketball, who's going to be able to make their free throws for one. Because Iowa, the big difference in that UConn game was the free throw shooting. That is something that South Carolina has struggled with at times. It hasn't cost them yet. The turnovers and the missed free throws, really the only two knocks on South Carolina. It hasn't cost them yet. They just have so much talent and depth, man. And it's just crazy how they dominate the glass. They lock down the paint. Camila Cardoso, if she ain't blocking shots, her and Watkins, they're bothering them. You got to account for Sanaya Fagan as well down there. Like, it's just a lot of depth. Chloe Kitts, a player that could be an X factor in this game. She was quiet the last game against NC State. Her shooting and ability to spread the floor will absolutely help open things up for Camila Cardoso. But Iowa's got to make shots. We know they want to come in and shoot a lot of threes. We know that. The shots have to fall. Sydney Falter, I think, is a big like an X factor for this group. They got to rebound as a team if they're going to stand any type of chance on the glass. Caitlin Clark, it cannot all fall on Hannah Stolke. Caitlin Clark, Falter, Martin, they all got to hit the glass and, try to create those extra possessions. But they need Kate Martin to play big. They need their seniors to play big. They need Gabbie Marshall to have a game and hit those shots that she knows how to make from deep. They need her to make plays on the defensive side. I imagine that, she's going to be matched up with Breezy Hall or Tahina Pau. So those matchups will be fun to watch, man. We got to give the point guard edge to Caitlin Clark. But at the 2, hey, man, I don't know. Martin and Pau is going to be a very fun matchup to watch. You got a Falter in there as well. Raven Johnson, like, it's just a lot of matchups. Stolke, whether she's matching up with Cardoso or Chloe Kitts, does Iowa go big and put another big in there? There's different matchups that can be taken advantage of. Stolke, though, I think her most dangerous asset, her superpower, is her ability to get down the court in transition, and she's going to have to do that. Iowa has to get points in transition. That's going to be what opens things up for them. They get those guards in space, and they can really hit those outlet passes, hit those bigs in stride, and they're ready to finish at the cup. So I think that'll be big for Stolke. Whenever they've needed Stolke, though, she's been big. She's come through, and she's had big games. She's given up a lot of inches to this front court at South Carolina, but she's going to battle. She's going to play hard, and I think she could give them some problems getting up and down that court. But they definitely need the supporting cast. It would be so crucial if they could get Molly Davis back. Iowa missing their third leading scorer. She hasn't played at all in this tournament, but they absolutely need their full strength against South Carolina, man. We've seen South Carolina just continue to suffocate teams. They haven't faced an individual player to the level of Caitlin Clark. Clark has already got a dub over this squad. Last year, not this particular squad, but last season beating the Freshies. You know what I'm saying? But the strategy's got to be different. These teams are different this year. Iowa lost some size and didn't exactly replace it. So they've got to make shots. They've got to make their first shot count. Iowa got to move that basketball, play with pace, and make shots. That's the big thing. And force turnovers. Try to force South Carolina into tough shots. But South Carolina is so good at moving the basketball. They're poised. They play together. They're locked in. They're in tune with one another. Like, the chemistry is just unmatched. Iowa's coming off a very emotional win against UConn. It's a lot to bounce back and play a team like South Carolina after going to the wire with a team like UConn, man. Like, they barely escaped. So, these two teams are kind of coming in with different mental headspaces right now, it feels like, because they're in two different total positions. Caitlin Clark's trying to stamp her legacy. On the other side, Dawn Staley's trying to get another ring. They're trying to complete the revenge tour, redeem that loss from last season where they were the heavy favorite to take the national championship. And they get to run their ones back with Iowa, man. But Iowa is scoring more points than last year. We have to look at that, man. The scoring has been more efficient, and they're making three-pointers at a hot clip, man. And teams have been able to keep up with South Carolina if they can knock down the three ball. So Iowa going to be looking to shoot that deep ball, man. I'm wondering how they're going to match up with Caitlin Clark. Do they throw two on her? Do they trap, hedge on those pick and rolls? It's a lot of different looks. We talked about Coach Bluder being a tactician. But you also got to look at Coach Dawn Staley, who's a tactician in her own right. We give the head coaching advantage to Dawn Staley, but at the same time, it's two very talented and wise coaches going at it that really know the X's and the O's and how to get the best out of their teams and their players, man. Iowa, I think they need a hot start. They need a fast start, and they need to maintain the momentum. They've got to make things tough. We've seen South Carolina have some slow starts. If they do have a slow start and Iowa can get out in front, this will be a game, man. It's going to be competitive regardless, but South Carolina just has felt like a team of destiny for so long. And, we've all been hoping for this matchup. Some people will say the refs won Iowa the game and pushed Caitlin Clark, and the NCAA got the matchup they wanted. That's hearsay. I'm not really here to, comment on that or give my opinion on that. But this is the matchup. This is what we have. This is what we rocking with. So this is what we going off of. But Caitlin Clark has a chance to really cement her legacy. A lot of people have been saying she really can't be in that upper echelon GOAT talk with the Maya Moores and the Breanna Stewarts and players of that caliber because she doesn't have the accolades of the team. She doesn't have that national championship, that elusive national championship. But we do know Caitlin Clark has also not played with the same amount of talent as Diane Taurasi and some of these UConn players and even Candace Parker at Tennessee. And she's willed this Iowa team to back-to-back national title game appearances. So regardless of the outcome, we at least got to salute that. Like, am I right or am I tripping? If I'm lying, I'm flying. Y'all let me know. But this should be a good game. Fast-paced. Whoever takes care of the basketball, makes shots, and can get stops is going to win this game. Whoever can control the tempo. Caitlin Clark, if she can leave her handprints all over this game, get a 40-piece, triple-double type vibes, Iowa can pull this thing out, man. We've seen South Carolina get pushed to the brink, but they bend. They have not broken yet. And just judging by the practice film we've been seeing, man, they're loose. They're having fun. Coach Staley's out there in TikToks. Like, they're feeling good, man. This team has a focus and a determination that we did not see last year, and I will stand on that, and I'll die on that hill. This team is laser focused, and, hey, man, they got revenge on the menu. They remember very vividly how Caitlin Clark lit them up last year. And for Caitlin Clark, it's going to be up to her trusting her teammates once again, like she's been doing. Getting the ball to Stokey in transition, hitting Kate Martin, letting her do her thing, Sydney Falter, letting all them do their thing, man. That's really what it's going to come down to. Kate Martin's got to be big in this game as well. Her versatility, being able to rebound the basketball and hit shots. Like, they're going to need the supporting cast to be big. I think I think Martin can be X factors in this game. It's just, it's going to come down to really just being efficient and making shots.